So after almost 7 years since the last mainline entry, we're finally getting a new Dynasty Warriors game. And I will admit that I did not like the previous entry, that is Dynasty Warriors 9. It felt like for every step forward it made, it went 3 steps backwards. Now that I got to try the demo, here are my thoughts. If you are a fan of the modern games like 7 or 8, where you can annihilate troops without necessarily being strategic, then you may need to have an adjustment period in this latest entry. Because at least in this demo, it picks up a lot of elements from the older Dynasty Warriors titles, such as the return of the morale system and even the duel system in Dynasty Warriors 4. So for veteran players, yes, you will be saving your comrades a lot. At least that was my experience on the normal difficulty of this demo. While this may be attributed because your character is not yet powerful, you will be required to do a lot of strategic thinking or a lot of running around the battlefield to boost your comrades' morale to be able to turn the tide of battle. One of the major changes in Dynasty Warriors Origins compared to its predecessors is the character selection. No longer will you be choosing an iconic character in the events, but rather you play as the wandering hero while having one of the generals as your comrades, where that comrade follows you in the battlefield, and upon filling up the gauge, you'll be able to swap out to that character for a limited amount of time. What I noticed immediately in this feature is that swapping out characters make it feel powerful for the player, as you can only use that character for a limited amount of time. Whether or not this will hold true in the latter part of the game remains to be seen, but I did notice that the iconic general is a lot more powerful than your main character. Like in the previous entries, before the start of a battle, you'll be able to customize the arsenal of your character, whether it is the weapons, the gems, or the mount. But the most prominent new feature of them all is the battle arts system. On top of the regular and charge attacks in the previous entries, in Dynasty Warriors Origins, you'll be able to perform what is called battle arts. In the PlayStation 5, you map these battle arts through the square, triangle, circle, or X button, and to execute them in battle, you simply hold R1 and press any of these 4 buttons to perform a special ability. While battle arts are significantly more powerful than regular attacks, these consume a new resource called Bravery, which can be found in the lower left corner of the screen on top of your health gauge. Naturally, the more powerful the battle art, the more bravery it consumes. And to fill up your bravery, you will need to perform regular or charged attacks. This encourages players to be strategic in the use of battle arts. And believe me, you will be using this feature a lot, at least in this early section of the game. In my experience, I performed battle arts when confronting officers, as they have this new feature, what is called Fortitude. You may have already noticed this in the video. Fortitude can be found on top of the health gauge of the enemy officer. It is the shield icons that can break upon successfully landing multiple blows. And when all icons are broken, the officer staggers, giving you a button prompt to be able to perform a devastating attack. For Dynasty Warriors 8 players, this is similar to the weapon triangle system, except that there are no weapon weaknesses this time around. Another new feature is the ability to command troops in your battalion, but I honestly did not find this useful in the demo. But another new feature that I did appreciate is the overhauled healing system. In the previous entries, you simply pick up the healing item in the battlefield and you immediately heal your HP. But in Dynasty Warriors Origins, you have the option to also keep the items in your inventory so that you can use it at your earliest convenience or whenever you need it. Although you can only carry a limited amount, this opens the door to strategic consumption of said healing items. Another excellent new addition to the combat is the enemy officer's ability to perform strategies. And to be able to counter said strategies, you are given particular conditions to do so. In the case of the demo, in order to prevent the enemy from strengthening their defenses, you will need to eliminate 500 soldiers within a time limit to thwart the enemy plot. This adds another layer of strategic gameplay on top of the heavy, fast-paced action. And for me, the best quality of life added feature in Dynasty Warriors Origins is the ability to turn back the clock should you be defeated in battle. In the previous games, when you die, it's game over and you have to start the battle from the very beginning, or at least at a certain checkpoint. But in Dynasty Warriors Origins, you are given full freedom when in the battle would you like to begin again, so that you don't have to necessarily start from the very beginning or think things or approach things differently compared to how you did previously when you fell in battle. I honestly never thought of this feature, which is incredibly brilliant and a much welcome addition to the franchise. And that pretty much concludes the combat section of my experience of the Dynasty Warriors Origins demo. Keep in mind that you have to be far more strategic in comparison to the likes of Dynasty Warriors 7 or 8. And also the emphasis is heavy on the parrying and evading, especially in this early section in the game where officers tend to deal powerful damage to you, and precise parrying can lead them to stagger, giving you time to deal significant damage. As for the non-combat features, I do believe that Dynasty Warriors Origins emphasizes on a stronger narrative. In the cutscene shown in the demo, I appreciate that the other characters are interacting while you can hear the critical characters engage in dialogue. This makes the game world more believable and more dynamic. While voice acting can be a hit or miss, Dynasty Warriors Origins features branching dialogue, which I believe is the method on where you will choose which faction to side as the wandering hero. While I am uncertain if you can change the outcome of the story upon choosing a faction, I am hopeful that in the final game, you are able to change the story similarly to the likes of Dynasty Warriors 8, where you can choose the hypothetical route and your faction wins in the ending of the story. And this wraps up my first impressions of the Dynasty Warriors Origins demo. I am excited next year for the more strategic gameplay and the return of the morale system. What are your thoughts of the game? Will you be picking it up or wait for a discount or reviews? Sound off in the comments. As always, subscribe if you like my content, and I will see you next time.